explanation of that, the last major step in the analysis phase involves the determination of the conceptual classes. What is conceptual classes? I was discussing now in the last class. So to build an object-oriented product, what is it you are going to do? You are going to define the required number of classes and the objects, right? Conceptual is nothing but the meaning of the term conceptual here is it is an idea or an object. Okay, what actually the class is going to do with the corresponding object, that is called as conceptual classes. That means you are going to build a relationship between different participants and the establishment of their relationships. Say for example, you take a member as a user, customer, who is going to avail the library facility, and with respect to library, what are the relationships? What are the relationships to be built? What is it he is going to do? He will take the avail the what is that? He will borrow the book, then he will return the book. All that. So these are the classes which are used to build the relationship, to establish the relationship between the participants. Example, the same thing I is given here. In the library system, some of the major conceptual classes include members and books. That's what. The member can avail the book from the library, and members can borrow the book, which establishes a relationship between them. So this is how you are going to write the conceptual classes to establish different relationships. So it means ways to follow to complete writing the use case. The first step here is first part. The first stage is design facilitation. So via use case analysis, we determine the functional requirement of the system. First step is, first you should see what is the requirement, what is the member is asking for, what is the application to be done, what is the product to be developed. So obviously the design stage must determine how to implement the functionality. So we will plan here. We have not yet done the implementation part, the planning stage. Okay. So for this, the designer should be in a position to determine the classes that need to be defined. So while planning, you will know what are the different number of classes you need, what type of classes you need to use. So what are the different objects will come across. All those are going to be planned. And how the objects interact, how they are going to interact, that we are going to plan in the first stage. So this is better facilitated if the analysis phase classifies the entities in the application and determines their relationships. Entities are nothing but the blocks, whatever the class and objects you take now, that is the one. How they interact with each other, how these different blocks, different objects will interact with each other. What is the application you are going to develop? So your design part is done, planning is done. What is the next step? If any added knowledge is necessary, then we go for the second step. The use cases do not completely specify the system. Here you are not going to specify the complete system. Some of these missing details can be filled in by the class diagram. That's what. In the first step you have planned it, but when you write the use case now, it will just give the idea, but it will not give the complete working principle is not given. So whatever is necessary, I need to add it now. Some missing details are going to be added. How is that you are going to add? You are going to fill it with the help of a class diagram. That is called as adding the knowledge. The necessary things are to be added. Step 3, error detection. In carrying out this step, in the previous step, when you add the required number of missing document, no, the details, the details of the object or details of the class. If anything is missing, that we are going to add. While adding that, you need to check if there is any error. Who is that going to do? The analyst. The analysts are forced to look at the system more carefully. When you do perform the operation, the analyst should take care that there should not be any error, there should not be any failure. So the result can be shown to the client, because once you finish performing, you are going to deliver the product to the client. So before delivering, you should check whether any error is there. So the result can be shown to the client, who can verify its correctness. So finally, client is going to check whether you have given the product according to his requirement. Next we have useful documentation. The precise document, what you call the useful. Unnecessary things are not to be given. So the classes and relationships provide a quick introduction to the system for someone who wants to learn it. Just if you view the use case, the diagrams or whatever you written in the steps, if you view that, it will be easy to understand what actually the operation is taking place, what the transaction is taking place. So the classes and relationships provide a quick introduction to the system for someone who wants to learn it. For the beginner, it is very helpful. So whatever you define now, the relationships between the class, that will give a quick view of your system to the beginner. Such people can join the project to carry out the design or implementation. So the newcomer can easily look at this class and relationship and their relationship. So with the help of that, they can carry out the project, they can carry out the design, the implementation part, because method is easily shown. So or he can, if he is already involved, he can maintain the system.